Welcome to the Patricia Joe Grover Show, where we turn believers into achievers. And today, my guest is Jamie Ray Wright. Now, Jamie, let me give you her title and things that she has going on. Jamie is a global trauma and self love advocate, and the power of overcoming and learning to love yourself again. So this is wonderful stuff. Now, Jamie is an active speaker, coach, author, and activist for survivors of life trauma and domestic violence. She has shared her story on 60 Minutes, the BCC News, CBS, Fox 26, and The Doctor's TV show with Dr. Ian Smith. Jamie is a senior analyst with nearly 2 decades in finance and auditing with the federal government and has received awards and commendation for time in Afghanistan supporting operating and enduring freedom. She has two upcoming books to be published in 2021, Finding Purpose Through Pain and The Power of Overcoming Shame and Learning to Love Yourself Again. Welcome to the show, Jamie. Oh my
Thank you.
goodness. Yes. This is
Thank you,
this
Patty. I
this is the
appreciate it.
time that people really need to hear these messages. So I am so blessed to have you on with me. Um so really what was it that what was it? How did your books come about? Because really these messages need to be shared. So can you give us some of that information?
Absolutely. And first of all, thank you, Patricia. Thank you for having me. I'm honored. I'm grateful. Thank you for this platform to share hope, believing, and encouragement and inspiration. So thank you. Thank you again for having me today. So, wow, how did my books come about? Life, right? Life and the things that I've had the opportunity to grow through, not always realizing that I was growing through them, thinking that I was going through them. But now that I know what I know is the things that I've had the honor of growing through. So, a little bit about myself. I'm just a really simple country girl from the northeast part of Oklahoma. Came up in very humble beginnings. Fast forward to about 8 months ago, I had been living in the Dallas Fort Worth area for about 13, 14 years. Met this amazing guy, retired military, firefighter, ordained minister. He asked me to marry him. I said, absolutely. And I relocated from Dallas to Houston, Texas in the earlier part of this year in February for what I thought was going to be this amazing life with this amazing man. And what I now know to be true is I did not move to Houston, Texas to be married. I moved to Houston, Texas to rebirth, to start to walk my purpose out. In that, in April of this year, April 23rd, to be exact, I found myself a victim of domestic violence and had to flee this beautiful home that he bought for us in Houston as a result of him. The abuse started a couple of years ago, but on the day of April 23rd, it led up to him being as explosive as he had ever been, and he hit me in the face with my laptop and knocked my teeth loose. So I found myself essentially in a women's shelter, the Houston Area Women's Center, in the midst of COVID.
Uh,
And I've
uh,
I've worked from home for about 5 years. So between working from home and the isolation that he had slowly but surely put me in, I didn't even realize, Patricia, that I was in the middle of a pandemic until the morning after I woke up at the women's shelter and looked around and seen people with masks on. And I was like, that's when it
uh,
dawned on me, oh my gosh, I
uh,
am in the middle of a pandemic. And I'm supposed to have this beautiful life, right? I make six figures. I have this tall, dark, handsome man that bought us a house. Like my life is supposed to be perfect. How in the world how is it that I'm finding myself in a women's shelter and little kids. I will never forget this, Patricia. The night that I got to the shelter, I didn't realize, I'm still in shock, right, of what happened. I didn't realize where truly I was going. I just knew I was going somewhere safe, and away from the abuse. And I seen this little girl look at me, and at this point, my face has started to swell and all of that stuff.
Wow.
So anyway, I the first thing I thought is like, I can't stay here. I mean, there's no part of me that will allow me to stay here. And so fast forward, that to answer your question is where my books came, because
Right.
I was at the shelter for about 3 months, and I did a lot of soul work, a lot of therapy, a lot of reflection and acceptance of how I found myself where I did. So, yeah, I have two books. They're on the way. They're going to be filled with a little bit of my story, right? From all the way from my childhood trauma, me experiencing domestic violence as a child, and my sister and I just having a tough childhood growing up, experienced molestation. I found myself pregnant at 13 in a mental institution by the time I was 20, from trying to take my own life to burying my mom at
Wow.
22. Hey, you all, we can experience this thing called life, right? Because it's going to
Hmm.
happen. But it's all in the way we decide and choose to respond to it that will make all the
That's
difference.
true. That's true. And the bless you for having the courage to share your story. And that's what so many women have a difficulty doing because they still haven't wrapped their heads around it. They feel shameful. They feel, there's so many things, and they feel like they're going to be belittled for sharing and talking about it. And that's not the case. The case is people need to hear this. It is encouraging, educating, and empowering to other women to know that they're not in this alone. Other people have been through this and have made it through. So this is the key, showing people and women that you can make it through this no matter how bad it is. There, if you reach out, and you have to reach out, you have to let people know to help you get out of these situations, because in many instances, you know to get out alive, you need help.
Absolutely. Three things with that, Patricia. The first thing is, I didn't even really realize I was in a domestic violence situation because I grew up in it.
Right.
Right, and the, like you said, the shame and the fear of being judged, I just kept it to myself. And when it started, and accepted that that's what it was, and if I didn't say a certain thing, or if I didn't do a certain thing, then I wouldn't get hit. So the first thing is recognizing that we are in a domestic violence, and it doesn't even have to be
Right.
physical, right?
Right.
Because it starts off mental, verbal, emotional. Because like my therapist shared with me, oftentimes we're not going to enter into a relationship and 2 weeks or 2 days later someone slap us and
Right.
we not leave, right?
Right.
However, it's the emotional verbal things. So first, I didn't even recognize that I was in the situation. Second, I definitely didn't know that there was resources available like the Houston Area Women's Center and the Domestic Violence National Hotline. So I mean, for anyone that finds themselves in a domestic violence or just an unhealthy relationship, there are, like you said, Patricia, you are not alone.
Right.
There is help available. And at the point that you reach out to these trained people that they've dedicated their lives, their purpose is helping people like us that's experiencing hurt. At the point that you decide to reach out, man, they will walk you through. They
Right.
will give you tools, this I know for certain, that will allow you to make the best decision for you. Hence, like you said, the word empowerment. And
Yes.
third is like, just, hey, my third point would be for anyone that knows someone that's going through a domestic violence or just an unhealthy relationship, please don't judge.
Right.
Please do not judge. Listen with your heart and with empathy, and try to encourage them to seek professional help, whether that's the National Domestic Violence Hotline, places like the Houston Area Women's Center. They have trained, confidential advocates that give phenomenal services for free. So If, like, for me, Patricia, some of my girlfriends, bless their hearts, when I first shared that I was in a domestic violence situation, I felt judged. Girl, if that was me, I had one man hit me and I was gone. And girl, if that, and not,
Oh.
and I know that they meant well, right?
Yeah,
And
yes, of course they meant well. Of course they meant well, but not understanding the, like you said, it didn't just go to you were together a weekend and you got, he started with that. It's small things at a time getting to that, and that controlling with that, and separating you from your loved ones, things, that matter to you, and those connections, and just having that control and having you under that thumb. And again, it was so little at a time you didn't notice it happening. And I hear these stories a lot. So I don't know the answers. I don't know the answers. And any of us could say, well, if it were me, I wouldn't stand for that. And I could say that today. I can say that because, you know, I've learned a lot over the years. But on the other hand, when you're seeing it in somebody else's instance, it's hard. Like I would say, if you're my girlfriend, I if I suspected anything, I would say, "Hey, is everything okay? How are things going?" And try to get you to open up.
yep,
And that, I guess that's the way I would approach it as a girlfriend, or maybe somebody else that you work with, and you might notice something, and because until the person going through that is ready, you can't make them, you
it's
can't
not.
make them
Yeah,
share.
and all of us have our different level of readiness. And if someone finds themselves in a position, like you're saying, to support someone that's going through a domestic violence or an unhealthy relationship, is just to be there, because at some point that person will make the decision, but they have to make, and at the point that they choose to make the decision, just reassure them that you're going to be there.
Right.
I mean, just coming off the brinks of my situation, I'm literally, Patricia, there's this funny duality that my creator has me doing right now: the healing work,
Right.
but also the advocacy work too.
Right.
So as I'm healing, I'm sharing my healing,
Yes.
with
Yes.
others. So that's my 3 points: know that you're not alone, recognize that you might be in a domestic violence situation, know that you're not alone, and if you're supporting someone that's in a situation, a domestic violence or intimate partner,
Right.
um, violence situation, know how to best support them. And that's why it was so important for me to put, I have a website for me to put those practical tools on my website:
Right.
how to support someone going through a domestic violence situation, the Houston Area Women's Center hotline, like these practical resources that are available that help me. Like you said, I don't know all the answers.
Right.
All I can do is share what by my creator's grace worked for me.
Right, right. So go ahead, and can you put your website down below while we're talking about it? Because right now, oh, Jamie, right now, holy crow, as many people have been cooped up due to the pandemic, it has got to be affecting so many relationships. And then also when you say, with schools being, not in attendance on a regular basis, kids may only be going to school. I have one grandchild that's only going to school 2 days a week, and then the rest of it is trying to do it through home, doing it on Zoom. So you have all that. That's a lot of lots of stuff on your plate. That's a lot of tension for relationships, and the family dynamics and everything. It really does play a part. So right now, any information that you can recommend for people to reach out, and just keep an eye out for your friends and loved ones to see if there's something that you think is a little, you know not them, not their usual. It's not. What do I want to say? We are all going through, or have gone through, so many things that has affected us emotionally, mentally, spiritually, even with this pandemic. So just the need is there to
Absolutely.
have
And
as much positive.
there's a tab on my website. It's called resources, and up under that is where all like the resources that I know work, because I've used them, literally just used them, and am still using the outpatient therapy through the Houston Area Women's Center. So, and that's the thing, Patricia,
Right.
like knowing that you're not alone, and even if someone chooses just to reach out, to have someone to talk to. One young lady reached out to me. She said she was at the park. Her abuser, she just had to get away from him. So she went to the park, and we're DMing back and forth. And so I encouraged her to reach out to trained advocates at the Houston Area Women's Center. I said, you don't have to go to the shelter like I did, right? Whatever the resource is and the support is, it
Right.
might look way different for you, but just know that it's there for you.
Right.
And from what little bit I understood, she called them and she taught. Now this is from her. They would, the people at the shelter would never tell me, but she came back. She told me, she DM'd me, direct messaged me through
Yep.
Facebook, and told me thank you. So I assume she maybe just reached out and had a conversation.
Right.
Another very important thing that I would like to share is that if in the event someone does come to you and you're supporting um, a DV victim, a domestic violence, sorry, victim, I say DV as the acronym, that's that
Right.
military to you
Right.
all.
Right.
Mhm. uh, Create a safety plan. Talk to them about a safety plan that if in the event you need to leave, let's create a plan so that you leave safely.
Right.
When, I'm not saying leave now, but in the event that you decide you need to leave, let's make sure that you do it in a safe way. And again, that's on my website, the safety planning. You can Google safety planning. I mean, so that's how readily this information is when
Right.
you know it's out there. I did
Right.
not know it was out there, but it's
Right.
definitely there. And it's effective.
Right. And I think now too the scary part is not not knowing what is out there for people to go into situations to get out of the household situation. You know what I mean? What, people are afraid of that. I think women are less apt to at this point reach out for help because they're so scared. Hey, if I leave my home where I know I'm safe because I haven't been out and exposed to things, if I go somewhere, I am going to get exposed to being sick. So I think that's a scary thing at this point for people. But, you know, uh, just for safety's sake and peace of mind and the health, just thinking of all the ways that domestic abuse, and again, it's abuse in any form, whether it's violent, whether it's, verbal, emotional, or financial, and many women get abused that way also. So, um, yeah, again, bless you for sharing your story with so many people, and at this point, you're so new coming out of this. I give you kudos for the strength and everything goes. You're finding that it's helping you heal.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I went from a women's shelter, Patricia, to I have this beautiful view of where I live, right? My space is just beautiful. It's free of violence. I call this my sacred space. Anyone that follows me on social media, they'll see I was at a dear friend's house that I met on this other side of the journey. That's another thing I would like to back up and share is that
Sure.
when you decide to say I've had enough, or you decide to have a different life, the life that you desire and deserve, it will blow your mind at how people will show up for you and start to support you, right? It is blowing my mind. A couple of days ago, I posted on my Facebook page, Jamie R. Wright, a picture of a video of me in the backyard of a lady that I met on this other side of my journey, on my healing journey. She said, Jamie, come stay with me. And I'm like, okay. Patricia, I got to her house and it's so serene. It's beautiful, the design and everything, but the peace and the serenity
It just
is
it hit you. Did it hit you like a like like a big puffy. All I can think of when you say that is a big puffy cloud of love. That I all that just that's
Perfect.
yep. That's all I
Perfect.
can think of.
And I did not know this lady no more than a man in the moon before this side of my healing journey, right?
Oh,
This life that I desired and I decided to have, and now she is a dear friend. I mean, it and I like I it's just at the point we decide like I'm done with it, whatever your it is. I'm telling you, after you if you just push through that fear, that's for me that's courage. Is feeling the fear is the aspect of courage, feeling the fear and doing it anyway. You
right.
just push through that fear of that unknown. I am a testament of that, because when I was at the shelter, Patricia, I was like, oh my god. The first thing I went and told the therapist, I said, I can't stay here. I'm not going to contract COVID, and I have a master's degree, and I work for the federal government, and I make six figures, all this stuff. What about my pride? What about my children? What am I going to tell them? And she said, well, you can decide to go back, and I'm going to help yourself identify his triggers, so that when things get tough again, you can leave, and or you can stay here and start your healing and understand why it is that your tolerance for this type of behavior is so high. And in that moment, I made the decision to stay, because like I've shared on 60 Minutes and with BBC News, I'd rather had stayed and ran the risk of contracting COVID than my two daughters, my family, and my friends bury me because I said something to someone that he did, like a man that I said something and he didn't like it. And so in that moment, and it was tough,
Yeah.
right? I had ate the food that the shelter prepared. I was around women that I did not know at first, but I met some phenomenal. You're talking about some phenomenal women.
Mm-hmm.
So my point to sharing all that is absolutely it's gonna be scary, right? And I'm still grieving the loss of my relationship.
Well, I can understand that, even though it was some of it was so horrible, but I'm
Yeah,
sure that there was still some things, you know.
yeah. Doesn't make it easy, because there is still that, like my therapist has did help me identify. There's the grief of a loss of a loved one through death, and then there we grieve live deaths,
Yes,
right?
yes,
So you're gonna have some tough times. Now I didn't cry, I didn't pray, Lord, why me? In all of these things, right?
right.
However, it's all been worth it, because on the other side of this thing, I get to share on beautiful platforms like yourself, like y'all, like, and I say y'all because I'm country and I'm from Oklahoma.
That's okay, darling.
Um,
I love it. I love it. And it brings tears to my eyes because it does. You're again. This is showing everybody you're not in this alone. And just like Jamie's sharing what she has exposed and been experienced to, and what she saw in the shelters. The thing is, and when you said about fear, we all face different fears at different points in our lives. You know, but no matter what, no matter if it's a fear of with being in a domestic abuse and violence situation, or any other fear, you have to have your curiosity be greater than your fear. That's what I teach my clients, because I teach people to be able to achieve their dreams and goals. Well, one of your goals was to get out of that situation, so that was, but no matter what, your curiosity, and why I say that is because you had to think, and you had to think about it yourself. What could my life be? What possibilities do I have over and above getting out of this? You had to do that. You really did. And that's the thing. People have to have their curiosity of what if, you know,
love it.
it has to be greater than that fear. And they have to believe that they are worthy, and they have to believe that they're capable. And that's what I work with. That's why I have guests on my show to help me, because what I say is we turn believers into achievers. First of all, you have to believe, and you have to believe in yourself. And it all boils down to that, no matter what you're doing. And leaving a DV situation is the same thing, girl. It's the
Yes,
same thing. You have to love yourself and you have to believe that you are worthy of better.
that's
So,
it.
and I want you to know that you can have more, you can be more, you can do more, and and do what you have in your heart, your dreams, your goals, and that's what I'd say to anybody who is watching this, anybody who is going through a situation right now, is there is better out there, and you can have it. You just have to make that decision. I can't make that decision for you. Jamie can't make that decision for you. It has to come from within. Just like for our children. Jamie, you said you have children.
I do.
And don't we want more? We want more and better for our children. We want more and better for our sisters who are going through these situations. We don't
Yeah.
want anybody to have to go through that. But for us to say, you know, hey, come on, take my hand, we're going now, it has to come from them, from within, or it's not going to happen.
Patricia, it's really awesome that you brought up the children aspect because when we come from a place of belief, like you said, we have to believe it. And I'm going to break this down. And I'm a bona fide
Yep.
government auditor. I don't have no psychiatrist degree, but I do have a whole lot of life experience, right? Here's the thing that this is another thing that I know to be certain because it's worked for me. Self compassion and saying things to ourselves. I'm gonna give you a very good example. I would never say to my two daughters that you're not worthy.
Right.
Never. So why would I tell myself that?
That's true.
That self-talk. So when we talk about, like you said, turning believing into achieving, some of the things that we can do right now to help prep our brains for like your work. Oh, I believe that I'm worth it is the self-talk. If you have children, nieces, nephews, any little person that look up to you, consider talking to yourself like you would talk to them. And as you start to condition your mind that way, you will start and you align yourself with beautiful people like yourself, Patricia, that does this for their calling, that does it for a living. When you align yourself with someone that's going to challenge you to believe,
Right.
you do those practical application exercises, you start to dream and dream big. This is another thing I know for certain. It will manifest itself.
Right.
It will manifest itself. So a practical tool to start today is if you wouldn't tell your child that they're not worth it, don't tell yourself that.
Right.
And and there's three things, and this is like we'll get to it at the end of your show, is my gift to your audience is that one of my practical tools is the framing of the mind. So the negative talk. When we have negative talk or disempowering talk, the first thing is to practice catching it,
Mm-hmm.
identifying when we're thinking like that. And after we catch it, check it. Don't spend too much time checking it, meaning that, okay, for me, Jamie, is that your childhood trauma? Is that where is that negative thought coming from? The unworthy, for example, thought coming from? Oh, it's my childhood trauma when my stepdad told me I was a quitter. Oh, but I know there's no evidence that aligns with that right
Right.
now. So I'm going to be intentional about correcting, changing, and meaning like, no, I am worthy, and I am going to go on the Miss Patricia show, and I am going to share
Right.
myself in vulnerable ways. So, and then those are those practical things we
Exactly.
start to believe, and then we achieve.
Exactly. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I will go back to again bringing children into this, equation. Most women who are in domestic abuse and violence situations are not in those alone. Most of them have children in the equation. And we really, that's the thing. Because I know how it affects children because I was affected by that as a child. And it stayed with me well into adulthood and being able to have healthy, happy, successful relationships with men. So and I know that I had to go through three marriages and divorces and spend 9 years by myself learning to know, like, trust, and ultimately love myself before I was able to find my forever husband. And I had to kiss a lot of toads to find that prince. And what I say is, again, going back to the children, I know how it affected my life as a child going through that. So that's what I want to put out there into the hearts and minds of mothers, or who may be in situations that could be listening to this, is it's not just you making it through this alive. Because even if you make it through alive, or even if you don't, look at what the kids are getting exposed to. Try to think of that as your best way. If you can't do it for yourself and get out of this situation, do it for your children. And thinking of that way. And I just really had to put that out there, because it is it and it's healing after coming through this. And Jamie, you're realizing this too. It's so hard for you to come through it and heal yourself, but then the children, they need to heal too. And it's a difficult journey. And so again, I applaud you for what you're doing and sharing. It is phenomenal.
And I'm gonna piggyback off what you
Yeah.
said. My daughters are adults, so they didn't experience this. They didn't experience it firsthand up front, right?
Right, right,
They have experienced alongside me. But piggybacking off of what you said, think about the children. If you're a viewer that is in a domestic violence situation, or even in an unhealthy situation, think about the children, because you know what, you all, it's not an excuse, it's just my reality.
right,
I was predispositioned to be in a domestic violence situation, in unhealthy relationships, because like you, Patricia, I experienced it as a child. So going back to what I said earlier, I didn't even know I was in a domestic violence situation, because it was normalized as a little girl for
right,
me. So you can be, a single, I'm sorry, you can be a man or a woman, anyone that has children involved in a unhealthy relationship. Just know this: there is a high probability that your child will repeat that behavior. And so when you're looking for strength and understanding on what's the next best thing decision for you to do, think about that. Try to forward project just long enough to, do I want my little girl, my little boy, in this type of
right.
unhealthy relationship, and allow that to help you draw the strength and the resolve and the understanding you need to make the decision for you.
Yes, exactly. Fantastic. Because, we don't want to normalize. We don't want that to be normalized, that, hey, as a young boy or girl, that this is what it's supposed to be like, or this is acceptable. you know
Exactly.
and unfortunately, that's part of what has happened with those cycles.
That's
So
it.
I am all about, at this point in my life, with what I do, with my clients. What I do with my clients is I help break the cycles of limiting beliefs. That's all about how I work with my clients, and with my whole platform is breaking. My book is living outside the box. But it's of there's we put ourselves in boxes of so many things, but a lot of it is the limiting beliefs, whether the ones that we put upon ourselves, or the ones that we allow others to put upon us. So, to break the cycles of limiting beliefs, but also to break the cycles of domestic violence. And that's, again, that's not my whole platform, but I am so much a part of that, because it was such a part of my life. And that's what, it really is important for people to realize. It's not just the women going through these situations, it's the children and how it affects their lives. So I am so glad, again, to be able to have this, and you and I are having this candid conversation and being real, and this is authentic. And I think more people need to know this. And so the more that folks like yourselves are sharing these stories. And again, it's not, you're a highly educated woman, coming from um, a very successful career,
Yeah. Hmm.
and And a six-figure income, it's not just one type of person that goes through a situation like this, and so many things. And you can and like you said, you were with this person for a period of time before all this happened. And I mean, and you guys had, and again, it has nothing to do with income level, it has nothing to do with the color of your skin, your religion, or any of that. It has to do with, there right, that there are the people out there that have to have, and whether it's something that they had as a learned behavior, or something they had been experienced themselves as a child, or whether they learned that that's how you treat women, or
That's
who, what I mean. We don't know what's inside the minds of the people that are the perpetrators. We don't know all about that, but we do know, what the
and we know
results are.
it's a power and control situation. And like you said, it don't discriminate. It doesn't matter if you
Right.
black, white, atheist, Catholic, Buddha,
Right.
Christian. It all boils down to power and control. And like what you just mentioned, Patricia, um, it's been my experience that hurt people, right? So I oftentimes, so now I'm committed to the healing the both sides. When we talk about families and children, it's like you all, it's a community. It's domestic violence for far too long has been a family issue, a relationship issue.
Right, because it was kept behind closed doors.
Right. What goes on in
Right.
this house stays in this house. But I'm here to tell you it is a community issue.
Right.
It is a world issue because hurt people. And guess what? You can't get healed if you don't address the issue or not aware. So, like for example, my stepfather, I was able to have a conversation with him and ask him, why did he inflict so much pain on my sister and myself and my mom? He was hurt, Patricia. If I had the opportunity to ask my abuser the same thing, I would grant he would say the same thing. So not only we as women need healing or deserve it in terms of like why are we putting up with this type of relationships and things like that, the men or the abusers also deserve healing, deserve to understand why they have to have so much power and control, right? Let's get to the root of that.
Right, right. And again, that's something we don't really think as much of, but and we've all heard the people say, uh, you have to be able to forgive. When you forgive somebody, that takes all that energy and everything that you're holding in, because you're anger, you're hurt, you're upset, and that is, it's wearing you down, you know and just, but knowing and accepting. And I guess that's again such a learning. And I don't have the answers for everybody, but I'm just saying, have an open mind and think of, just like Jamie said, there's an issue, or there's reasons why the abuser is doing what they're doing. And for many of us, I always have had the need to try to figure out or find out why somebody would do something, or trying to figure it out, and that's just me, and it comes from my head. I have to figure out how things, or why things are the way they are, because it is, for me, it's to go back and, how did it begin? Is there a way to you know keep it from budding? And to me, how you keep something like that from budding is to, when a child, again, if a child sees a healthy, happy relationship, they're going to think that's what a healthy, happy,
It's
relationship is
the
supposed to
root.
be.
It's going back to the root, Patricia. Like
Yep.
we have a hard time finding and growing anything, right? Like the good book says, the fruit of a tree is the root. So when we get to the root of the issue, the root of there's unhealed people that deserve and desire healing, right? Because another hard, authentic reality is, guess who's raising these young men? We are
Right.
women, right? So if we're unhealed and we're raising little people, guess what? There's a risk that we're going to project our brokenness onto them. But here's the good thing is that we have platforms like just we have books, we have
Right.
seminars that nowadays you all like as a community. I say you all like
Right.
anybody that's watching this,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
We have access to the tools, right? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, I have some stories for you of what I've had to grow through my life, right?
Right.
But I choose to take those stories and I am intentionally shifting, like shifting, breaking those generational habits and interrupting it for my beautiful daughters. One's 26 and 20. So listen, for my grandchildren, my legacy, right? I'm taking
Right.
all tools that the universe and my creator is allowing me to and saying, yeah, this happened, but guess what? This is what we're going to do. When my grandson come along, guess what? I'm going to make sure that I do what's in my power to make sure that my girls are healed, to make sure that my son-in-laws are healed, so that we have an opportunity as a community of raising a
Right.
healed young man and young woman.
Yeah.
That,
Yes.
in my mind, is how we're going
Yes.
to eradicate domestic
Yes.
violence.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Let's
Yes.
do it, Miss Patricia.
Woohoo! I love it. I love it. I love it. Um. So, oh, again, you and I could chat all day about this and trying and again, we wish that we could get the messages out there to uh, everybody, all, and it's not just for women, because other people, other men and children, seeing this and knowing this and making that connection of how all this, we have as a people, as a human race, we can eradicate this we can, we don't have to live this way. Life could be so much better for everyone. People deserve to be able to be happy. People deserve to be able to live unencumbered, because this is it's just causing issues. There's no need for it to cause. There really isn't. And so, oh, yes, and I'm all about locking arms with other like-minded people such as yourself, and the groups that we're circling and making differences. So um I have something I want to share with you today, Jamie, and again, the people that are watching this. What I do with my clients when I help them to create a mantra that helps them, something they can say for themselves to keep themselves energized and empowered, it's encouraging too. So I'm going to share this with you. Let me just grab this, because I'm going to have you repeat after me some things.
Do it.
All
Okay.
right. Let me grab this. Okay. So I printed this out and I recommend this. I have, and I don't know if you can see this, it says I am. I
Yeah.
am. Okay.
Yeah. Affirmations. Let's do it.
Okay. So I am going to say this and you're going to repeat after me. So
Yes,
what
ma'am.
I did is I went down and I am, and I went down through the alphabet and I picked out 3 positive words for every letter of the alphabet. Now it gets tricky around X, Y, and Z, but you can get creative. Okay.
Okay.
I am articulating. Go ahead and
And
repeat after me.
I am articulating.
I am activating.
I am activating.
I am achieving.
I am achieving.
I am bold.
I am bold.
I am brilliant.
I am brilliant.
I am beautiful.
I am beautiful.
I am curious.
I am curious.
I am courageous.
I am courageous.
I am consistent.
I am consistent.
I am doing.
I am doing.
I am diligent.
I am diligent.
I am determined.
I am determined.
I am excited.
I am excited.
I am engaged.
I am engaged.
I am empowered.
I am empowered.
I am fierce.
I am fierce.
I am friendly.
I am friendly.
I am fabulous.
I am fabulous.
I am gifted.
I am gifted.
I am gracious.
I am gracious.
I am generous.
I am generous.
I am happy.
I am happy.
I am healthy.
I am healthy.
I am a handful and huggable.
I love it. I am handful and huggable.
I am intelligent.
I am intelligent.
I am imaginative. Imaginative. Yes.
Okay. I am imaginative. Okay,
Yes.
all right.
I am impassioned.
I am impassioned.
I am jazzed.
I am jazzed.
I am joyful.
I am joyful.
I am justified.
I am justified.
Yeah.
That hit me. That hit me.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah. Good. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. I am kid friendly.
I am kid friendly.
I am kind.
I am kind.
I am kissable.
I am kissable.
I am laid back.
I am laid back.
I am likable.
I am likable.
I am loving.
I am loving.
I am magnetic.
I am magnetic.
I am magnificent.
I am magnificent.
I am motivational.
I am motivational.
I am needed.
I am needed.
I am neighborly.
I am neighborly.
I am nice.
I am nice.
I am observant.
I am observant.
I am optimistic.
I am optimistic.
I am organized.
I am organized.
I am passionate.
I am passionate.
I am persuasive.
I am persuasive.
I am pretty.
I am pretty.
I am qualified.
I am qualified.
I am quotable.
I am quotable.
I am quirky.
I am quirky.
I am radiant.
I am radiant.
I am resilient.
I am resilient.
I am resourceful.
I am resourceful.
I am sassy.
I am sassy.
I am sexy.
I am sexy.
I am smart.
I am smart.
I am talented.
I am talented.
I am tenacious.
I am tenacious.
I am terrific.
I am terrific.
I am unbroken.
I am unbroken.
I am uncommon.
I am uncommon.
I am unstoppable.
I am unstoppable.
I am valuable.
I am valuable.
I am versatile.
I am versatile.
I am vibrant.
I am vibrant.
I am wanted.
I am wanted.
I am wise.
I am wise.
I am worthy.
I am worthy.
I am exuberant.
I am exuberant.
I am ecstatic.
I am ecstatic.
I am exploring my possibilities.
I am exploring my possibilities.
And so I will leave you with those. Again, I said XYZ gets kind of tricky, but do this for yourself. I did this for me. I share it with people. You go through the alphabet, choose 3 positive things. You don't have to say them all every day. You can have them, and I just said them looking at you in the camera and to the world. I am. That's very, very powerful. And those things, you can do this. You can have it on your computer desk screen. You can have it on your bathroom mirror. Practice looking at yourself and saying these things to yourself. I don't care if anybody else can see you or hear you. That's not important. What is important is that you're saying it to yourself.
Powerful.
And it is. And I, again, you are worthy and you are capable and you're not in this alone. So, hugs to you. Yes, exactly. Again, I applaud you, Jamie, for what you're doing and sharing this, the messages that you're sharing and what you're doing. And again, we'll continue to lock arms and move forward, making a difference and trying to break the cycles of domestic violence. And I keep doing that along with trying to break the cycles of domestic abuse and limiting beliefs, because they are so hand in hand. They are so hand in hand. So thank you again, my sweets, for being with me.
Yes.
And did you have anything else you wanted to leave the audience with?
Listen, thank you again, Patricia. I do look forward to continuing to lock arms with you, to shedding the opportunity to shed our light in the world and just be the light workers that I know that we were purposed to be. So thank you again for having me. Anyone that would like to, reach out to me, please feel free. My website is Jamie, and that's Jamie, Jamie. The middle initial R, my last name Wright, Wright. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Jamie R. Wright.
Ah, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So, for anybody else who'd like to find out more about me, you can go to patriciajogrover.com. And I have gifts for all the viewers. And because I want you to be able to live your life to the fullest potential. I want you to be able to achieve your dreams and goals because you are worthy and you are capable. So if you text the word goal, GOAL, to 866-926-4020, I have gifts there valued at over $600, and that you don't have to use them all at one time. You can, keep them and use them when you're ready to use them. But they're the 7 steps to goal achievement. And, you know, I'll look forward to hearing from you and trying to help get you from where you are to where you want to be. So until next time, we have a short little video coming up behind. All right. Thanks for being with us.